Welcome, everybody. Join us today. When you enter the room, please give us a thumbs up because we asked you to. Hello. Today we are talking about The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 16, Reunion Part 3. Thank God it's over. I'm just looking forward to this being over. I'm not gonna lie.
This was a good ending though, so I wasn't mad at it, to be completely
Mhm.
honest.
Yeah,
I
it
was not
wasn't bad.
mad.
It wasn't bad. Better than most that we've seen
Hmm.
lately because there was some resolution. They weren't screaming as much in this episode, and I truly
Right.
appreciated that because the first two episodes are full of screaming. I I
Yes.
could not. I could not with this. Um, the husbands joined the panelists. Oh, sorry, the ladies. Two of the husbands were remote. Seth in Ohio and Robert Sr. at home. Everyone
Right.
else showed up with the exception
Mhm.
of Heather because she doesn't have a husband.
Right.
Alrighty, so I'm not even going to bother to go through the Rolex story with Lisa because it didn't seem real to me. Like everything with her seems so fake and phony and produced.
Mhm.
I don't even want to bother with it. Until she
Right.
starts showing some sort of realness, I'm not really interested in Lisa. Um, I think the first thing we got into was Jen and Sharif and the issue with regards to her father's death and her anger over that.
Hmm.
You and I were talking about that before we came on.
Exactly. I
You
just did.
explain it.
I didn't. I can't explain it because it made no sense. It made no sense to me because um so the way I took it, and maybe I took it wrong, but basically what I took it as is that she was saying had since Coach Shaw was there, her dad was always seemed to be feeling better, and that if he had been around more and had stayed around more, her dad possibly could have lived longer. And I did not like that, and I like the fact that he said medically speaking, that's impossible.
Yeah, I that's how I interpreted it as well. And with Coach Shaw explaining it like that, it sounded bat poop crazy. It really did. But like I told you, I then started imagining an irrational screaming Jen saying this to him. And I could only imagine his reaction to somebody screaming that mess at him. Like you said, how could you put that on somebody, especially somebody that you love? Like really? The voices in
Mm,
her head need to be reined in. That's all I have to say.
yeah, it's just she. And it's interesting that how she painted him. I'm gonna agree with Gina Maxey on this one.
Mhm.
Um, it seemed like Coach Shaw was around more than Gentola. I got the same feeling from that. I'm like, wait a minute. The way she painted the picture was like just wasn't there for her. Because
Mhm.
like when she said he wasn't there at the funeral, I'm like, that's just really messed up. How could you not be there? But then I find out he actually attended the wake, but not the actual service. I'm like, okay, like you're not giving us the full story.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see him and hear him speak and everything. She, I got Jen just frustrated me. She, I felt like she was reaching for storyline after storyline, and it wasn't sticking.
Mm-mm. Well, was this around the same time that he kind of apologized to Robert Sr.? Or is that later? Is that something else I want to touch on?
Oh, I think it was a little later, but the men
Hmm.
weren't on there for that long though. So he apologized. Coach Shaw did apologize, like later on in that segment.
Yeah, and I thought that was heartfelt, And I
Mhm.
believe him when he said he spoke to Jen about it and said that's not how we do. Um, I feel sorry for Coach Shaw because I didn't realize he also had a daughter in his household with Jen, meaning Jen.
Mhm.
Um, it must be like, I guess after 25 years he's used to it, but for me who's just watching this, I find her to be very tiresome and I want him to run away from home. I really do.
Mm.
Free Coach Shaw. Um, but I don't want to hear any more of his pep rally speeches. I just don't. I'm just
Gotcha.
tired of them because I don't need them because I'm not behaving like that. But they're
Mhm.
falling on deaf ears with her
Right.
because you're having the same conversation with her over and over again about how she behaves and reacts to situations. Why keep talking? I just don't understand. It
Me
makes no
neither.
sense. And I thought he was 10 times a man to apologize on behalf of his wife to Robert and own how dead wrong what she said was. We could all think that, but that doesn't mean we have to actually let it come out of our mouth in a public
Exactly.
area.
Yeah, he did great. She not so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah. And Robert's acceptance of that apology was equally impressive. Um, you know, it just shows you how grown adults behave. That's all I have to say.
Right. And did you notice how Meredith? She's been the same way this whole reunion. She is so not unbothered by the situation.
Mhm.
There's something going on. Now I'm interested to see what it is because she's pissed. Like she's not happy. She didn't engage really with anyone.
Wait, I loved it when Andy gave her a question about her marriage, and she's like, "You really think I'm going to talk about my marriage with these people?"
Yeah,
I loved it. It
but
was
she
an
shut that
instant
down.
shutdown. Yes.
She shut that down, and that was that. I was like, go, Meredith.
She was like, "I said what I said. That's
Right.
it. I told you like 2 segments ago.
Hey,
Don't
let
talk
me
about my family."
right. Let me give you 2 seconds. Let me just say hello.
Mhm.
Hey everyone. Hey Trey. Hey Yanni. Hey Susan. Hey Lizzie. Good to see you. Welcome. Hey Gina Maxie. Susan. So sorry. Hey FM. Glad you can make it. All right. So yes. Why did Andy allow it? That was weird. He's shutting down. That was it. So that's a very good
But she
question.
wasn't rude about it. She was just firm. And I think Andy knows who he can push. And I guess he doesn't have any ammo on Meredith yet. Um, but
Probably.
yeah, I think Andy made the wise decision not to push it.
Okay. I have a question. So,
Mm.
is it me or was
Mhm.
Heather really doing the most this reunion? Because
Heather
I
had a
kind of
lot to say.
she had a lot to say, but I don't know because I've seen this mentioned in other chats and other
Mhm.
shows. So I'm like, okay, did I miss something? But then for some reason, when I saw Heather on this third part, even though she didn't say too much, I see where people are coming from. Her reactions don't fit the scenario, if that makes sense. Like her reactions were a little bit off.
Are you talking about when Whitney's husband, Justin, was talking about getting the letter of excommunication or whatever it is that you get from the Mormon church? That part where she started crying for that?
Yeah.
Um, you know what? When I watched it last night, I saw it and I was like, why why this girl crying again? Like it was just like I had enough of her in episode 1 and 2. But then when I
Mhm.
watched it again this morning looking for thumbnails,
Mhm.
I think I would agree. I think in her head, she's just trying to to be involved in a lot of the conversations. And I think
Mm-hmm.
she still feels deficient because she's the only one up there without a husband.
Mm-hmm. So she's still. So I get that. Okay.
She's
Give
the
me.
only one
Okay.
up there without a husband. And you know she already insecure. And I think she wants to hold on to the snowflake desperately. She's a smart girl. She
Yes.
came to play and she was prepared to fight every arrow and rock that was slung at her.
So do we think that this was a combination, like her reactions, because it's a lot different than what she gave us on the show until the
Mm-hmm.
last episode? Do we think that she's held things in so long that's all coming out now because she has a platform, and then
Mm-hmm.
two, she's just at the she you couple that with the pain of her divorce that she's still going through. Is that a fair assessment that those two things are coming together and this is what we're getting as the end result, and that's why it's kind of off-putting?
I think you hit it the nail on the head. Throughout her entire childhood and then in her marriage, she's had to keep her mouth shut. She started to open her mouth and her husband left her, right? So she's building up this business. She can't say anything because she needs people to come to her business. She gets on this show, and this show has really opened up a festering sore that is Heather and made her take a look at herself. And yes, she has matured and grown stronger over the episodes. But I also think that she has hit a wall with regards to the amount of BS that she's going to take in her life. And at the moment when her children told her, go live your life, I think that was a turning point for her. And that's why she reacted the way that she did on the final episode of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I also think why her reactions are dialed up a bit because if you've had to stay quiet for so long, you ain't gonna know how to scream. You ain't gonna know how to moderate your tone.
Mm. So
You
what we're
know.
getting, so what we're getting is the culmination of all her emotion, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not bridled, it's not measured. It's
It's
just
just
you're just
vomit.
getting raw. Yeah, you just
Mm-hmm.
kind of
It's
like
coming out of her craw.
diarrhea of the mouth as they call it, but just with
Yes.
pain and
Mm-hmm.
suffering and okay, I can see that. I
She
can when I
is
step back,
extra. She's being
yeah,
extra,
she's being
but
extra,
she's.
but it's coming from a genuine place. It's not like a Jen
Mm-hmm.
Shaw extra. But let me just force out these tears real quick.
And I honestly, real quick, I just honestly feel like this is the first time that she is speaking up for herself. Like she'll speak up for her kids, she'll speak up for her marriage, but she never speaks up for herself.
Hmm. Okay, I can see it from that standpoint. I can
Mm.
be fair and see it because for me, I'm like, Heather, calm it down, like 3 notches, please. But I get her. But I
Mm-hmm.
do want to talk about Mary because we talked about this before the show.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
li- I liked Mary this episode. She was funny. She was like articulate. I'm like, hold up, hold up, hold up. This is a vastly different woman than we got on the show. You shared something very interesting. So I want you to share your thoughts on this one.
What did I say?
You just the way she was edited.
Oh yeah. Like I don't think we got a chance to know Mary because like we saw her in the first couple of episodes and then we just had Mary in the closet. And then at the and did we see anything of her at the end? Like she got a real like shitty end of the stick when it came to editing. And so then when the reunion came, I think we really got to see Mary. Mary's not that bad. Yeah, she's quirky. Yeah, she falls asleep, you know, but especially in that first part, Mary chimed in and offered backup to a lot of the issues that were going on in the group. And that's something that should have been shared during the season, but we didn't hear it until the reunion, you know? And then, like in this episode, where we saw her interacting with her husband, and not the little stupid snippets that you would see her like. jumping around from 3 steps to downstairs, like, or in the kitchen talking nonsense about the houses. Like, it was a real conversation between a husband and a wife and how they interact. um I don't know, like, she seemed a lot more interesting than the woman that we watched in her closet for the majority of the
Hmm.
season.
Yanni's so funny. Mary is a lunatic. Falls asleep on the reunion. No, she's high as a kite. Well, allegedly in the past she had some substance abuse issues.
But she's not the
So
only person who's fallen asleep at a reunion. Didn't one of the New York housewives fall asleep at a reunion?
Ramona did that for attention though. That was fake.
Well, maybe she's doing it for attention. Mary's not stupid because she woke right up and she knew exactly what Andy was asking her.
Like yeah, we talking about she's pushing control. Yeah, she is pushy. She's very like in charge. So, but I'm just saying I do like her more. I got a different woman I got during the season.
Mhm.
So I'm not as mad that she's coming back for this next season, as I think we've heard that they've already started filming for her, so they are coming back. Was there anything else that really happened?
But
Because I
wait,
kind of go
wait,
ahead.
with her coming back next season, do you want to still get to know her, or are you still looking for the IRS to come and investigate her and her church?
I still have the IRS coming in. Before I mean the next topic I want to cover
Mhm.
is the ending part, but I want to say this, and it was a
Mm.
comment that someone made in the chat earlier. Let me see if I can find it.
Mm.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh, did you want to talk about how Robert explained like the whole situation with how he married Mama?
Your explanation was spot on, so I think you should do it actually.
Okay, so like I really liked when Robert came on and Andy asked him about the comments that were made about their marriage and Mary being a grandfather effer. And he said, it was the best explanation that someone could say. And only he can say it because he's the one that's been married to the two women. He said when he got married to Mama, he was 22 years old. How could he be a grandfather to anybody when he wasn't even a father to someone? And that made so much sense to me. And then to know that they've been married for 20 plus years and he's had to live with this over and over again. So it made sense when he said, I'm used to it. But it's still aggravating. Yes, we can all think it, but Jen, that doesn't mean we have to open our mouths and verbalize it. It is rude. That's their marriage. They have a child. Leave it alone. It's 2 decades in. Leave it
Mhm.
alone. And he just put a nail in it. And then I think Coach Shaw came up and like further put another nail in it and apologized on behalf of his wife and said, that's not how we roll. And, I truly hope that you can accept our apologies. And of course, Robert Sr. said, yes. I really like that whole moment. His explanation of their situation is the only one that's made sense to me.
Exactly, and this is the comment I was looking for. Lizzie, I think probably used the hook as it will be more about moments, but has very little about it. I will agree with that because when I first saw like Salt Lake City, because I know people from a person or two from Salt Lake City, and I have done research on Mormons in the past, so I was very interested. And I'm gonna admit, the trailers suckered me in because they had like the the temple at night. I thought we were gonna see the real nitty gritty of like Mormon society because I wanted to see the businesses. I wanted to see like who owned what. I want to see where the money really was. I was expecting her churches to get investigated. I wanted to see all the underbelly of
You
the
really
church.
thought we were gonna see, like, about the Mormon Church? I didn't, because I thought that if they even went near that, like, the Mormon Church lawyers would be on the production company and Bravo and shutting that down.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you up until this, if they even didn't block Bravo from coming in, like, no, we don't want this light shining on our city. No, 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 no. I could fully go with you, but I always had hopes like, okay, since they're allowing Bravo to be there and talk about it, I thought there would be more. I thought it'd be a little bit more open than what we saw. Is all. I wanted to hear like I just wanted to hear more. I wanted to learn more. I didn't want to have to watch the show, then go Google and figure out what they're talking about. I wanted them to really explain it. Heather tried, she gave us insight. I'm not going to discount that, but I really was hoping. Okay, let me back up. What I was hoping for, we were going to get a group of 7 Mormon women from different backgrounds. That was my hope for this show because I'm sure not everyone lives the Mormon faith the same exact way. I didn't get that. I mean, I think what turned me off a little bit of it was Lisa. Because like you are a Mormon by choice. Cool. I mean, that's great, but she offered nothing in the way of the history. So I was like, not interested in you.
Nothing real came out of Lisa. And the only time that she used her religion was to lord it over someone else's head to make herself seem better than them or to show how they are doing something wrong or less than. Like, I just thought she came at us and presented herself from an elevated perch that I don't necessarily think she belongs on. And I think she came from a place of jealousy because most of her venom was directed at the 2 women that came from very important families within the Mormon church. And they are generational Mormon, where she is relatively new to the Mormonism in comparison to these other 2 women that she was attacking. Like,
Right.
it wasn't genuine to me. Nothing about Lisa was genuine. She was just one product placement after another, which I grew very, very tired of.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this is. I saw this comment. I really, because we're at the end of the season, I really wanted to address this because it's very
Mm-hmm.
important. A lot of viewers feel the same way. So I'm in total agreement with Yanni on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But do we want to touch on the last big part of the reunion?
Yeah. Wait.
So what were your thoughts on that, or do you want me to go first? It's up to you.
You go first.
Sure.
I'm looking through my
So
notes.
sure. So for me, I struggled with this part that when Jen was speaking about like how about people called her aggressive and this and that and how it was wrong to call a person of a color aggressive. I'm like, they weren't stereotyping or generalizing. They were saying, Jen, your actions were aggressive because you gotten Whitney's face yelling at her, and then you pushed. She pushed Heather. Did she push Heather or Whitney? She pushed
It was
Heather out the way, right?
Heather.
She
Heather.
pushed Heather
Yeah.
out. You put hands on Heather. So
Mm-hmm.
what are you talking about? If that's not aggressive, what is it? You want to call it criminal as you assaulted her? Which one
Mm-hmm.
would you like? I did not like that. I felt that she was using that as a buzzword, as a trigger. I just didn't take care for it because,
Mm-hmm.
in my experience and from what I've seen, when the stereotype of aggressive is used, it's generally directed at darker skinned African American women.
Mm-hmm.
Her being of Tongan, was she Tongan and
Tongan and Hawaiian.
Hawaiian?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just didn't think that argument held water because one, she was aggressive. Let's not kid ourselves, and two, you're not the stereotypical the person of color that the stereotype is directed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to frame this right and find the words
I
because
know.
it's
I know. It's
tricky.
difficult. It's difficult to talk about this subject matter. It really is.
yeah, I think for me, it's not the difficult part of talking about because I'm completely comfortable. I think it's more like trying to find the exact words to where it fits this particular scenario. It was easier to explain with Dr. Wendy because she is the person that the stereotype affects, who it's generally targeted to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When Jen said it, it's like, well, no, no. And even when Dr. Wendy, but she was aggressive. Her behavior was aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
There's not this still like, you're like one of those women who's you're aggressive and you're this and that. It's like, no, Jen, we're reacting to
Mm-hmm.
what you did, ma'am.
Yeah. Like this whole situation came up with Heather saying she didn't want to be friends with Jen because she doesn't want to be friends with someone who makes her feel like crap. And that's kind of set off Jen.
Hmm.
But my problem with the whole situation was she could feel how she wants to feel. But if you can't explain this whole, false claim that you're throwing out there because you're black and you're a woman of color, and if you can't explain it properly, then you really should not be fighting that battle. And then what also irked me is like, you're calling me aggressive and I'm a woman of color, right, Mary? What?
That killed me.
Wait. Right, Mary? So now all of a sudden, because y'all kumbaya'd earlier, y'all besties and y'all going into this race war together. Girl, no. Wrong time.
Hmm.
Stop trying to be the loudest person in the room. Take a breath, collect your thoughts, and use your words. And try to communicate with people instead of always trying to be, I don't know, a big drama queen. It's just not effective for me. I'm not going to listen to you until you say some stupidness like, right, Mary? No, 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 no. You've lost the argument for me. I'm no longer listening to you. I'm playing games on my phone.
I agree with
That's what I
you.
took away
It was
from
just
that.
I was sitting there, I was kind of astounded. Like she even brought that up, and then she was crying with no tears. That killed me. Um, and then Whitney was trying to ask questions and understand her point of view, like where is this coming from. She
Mm-hmm.
snapped on her. I'm like, Jen for me is
Mm-hmm.
exhausting,
Yep.
and she was exhausting because she would try to make arguments where there was no argument to be had.
This is true.
That's true.
This is very true. Um, Hold on, Priya. I felt like Jen made some points about being labeled, though. Um, I think they were accurate points. She was being aggressive, and Heather told her, "Look how you're behaving now. You're being aggressive." Like, let's. This word aggressive has gotten a bad rap, and in some cases, saying that someone's behavior is aggressive is appropriate.
Yes.
Um, a lot of times during these 3 episodes, Jen's behavior was aggressive. Like, you loud girl, how are you communicating and you all you doing is screaming? It doesn't make, like, maybe I don't behave like I don't know. Maybe I can't
I,
be a housewife. I don't know.
for me, aggressive is when you are being loud and
Throwing
threatening
glasses.
and
Throw
threatening.
Yeah, and
Right. To me, that's aggressive behavior. Jen did those things. I don't like it when people want to make the word aggressive into the personality trait when in question is the behavior. That's where I have the problem with her. And I need people to really understand the difference. There are people who do have naturally aggressive behaviors. It's
Mhm.
not a bad thing. It's when the aggression turns threatening is the problem. And I say that to say this, Jen, you're not an aggressive person to me. Some of your actions are aggressive. So what I'm saying is you have aggressive behavior at times, but I'm not labeling you as an aggressive person. Two different things.
Well, what do you think about this comment that Yanni made? She was being aggressive to bully people to do what she wanted, and she probably has been getting away
Mm,
with the behavior to get what she's wanted for a while. Like when she
mm,
says you have to pick a side, like to me that's bullying. Like you don't ask your friends to do that. Like we're not 5 on the playground,
correct.
you know?
Mm,
Um there's just a lot of her behaviors. Like she couldn't be my friend. I'll just say that. She could not
mm,
be my friend because the main reason is that I don't need to be guessing how you're going to react to certain things. I don't need to, like, I need to know that you're going to be chill, you're going to be cool. Or if like I tell you like, oh my God, your parents died, I know how you're going to react with that, like that. But if I tell you, well, Mary said that she was coming over and you sling a glass across the room because I said the word Mary, I have a problem with that. You and I can't be friends.
right.
Yeah.
It's just for me, someone like Jen would be exhausting for my personality. It's just
They
exhausting.
do suck all the oxygen out of the room. It takes a lot to be around someone like that. I have limited time on this earth. I'm not going to waste it on somebody like Jen.
Exactly.
Mm,
I
okay,
think
so
for
I just
me, go ahead.
no, I was just reading what Ebony said. I disagree, Debbie. People expect their friends to pick a side, especially their side. See, I don't, because I don't care.
Okay, I'd like to take that one. I get the premise of the statement, and to a degree, I will agree. Now, here's the thing with my friends, the people I call friends, they understand that when they are wrong, I'm not going to side with them. It'll never happen. I've lost so-called friends because I did not pick their side. That's okay because if you're going to be my friend, I need room to disagree with you. And if I
Yeah.
do not have that room to disagree with you, then you cannot be my friend. We can be acquaintances, but you cannot be my friend. I'll use myself. My best friend and I, we talk and we tell each other, like, look, I'm with you when I'm with you. But when you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Now, am I going to do that publicly? No. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to I'm not going to go against you publicly. But when we get one on one, I'm like, look, you know you was a fool for that. Don't do it again. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, because you always being on your friends' side, to me, that's what gets people caught up in situations they need not to be caught up in because you took a side. And then what do you do when you find out that friend is wrong? That's why you
Mm-hmm.
that's why you should always just look at the facts. Like, you know what? In this instance, behind the scenes, be like, in this instance, you know you was wrong, right? You know you was wrong, right? Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say that, I don't care, but I like it's just a part of like everybody has their own opinions. Am I
Mm-hmm.
going am I going to like stop being friends with somebody because they don't agree with what I'm doing or vice versa? No, I'm still going to be like my friend was going to do something that I totally did not agree with. Are we still friends? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She still comes on this show every now and again. Sarf too.
I've had some I've had some situations where there's been some contention between a good friend of mine. I'm like I don't think you should do this. Um, Based on what I can see in the optics, do not do this. I don't think it's going to work out well.
Mhm.
Trust me. They did it anyway. I'm like, it's your right. I disagree with you. You know this, but
Mhm.
I'm going to since you've already done this, I'm going to support you in your stupidity and figure out how to make this less stupid.
Yeah.
To me, that's what to me that's what a good friend does.
Okay. Like, yeah, this is a good example of why I couldn't be friends with Jen. Yeah, and he says like the shopping trip with in Vegas with Heather. I'll do that for us, but drop your cousin and be on
Hmm.
my side. That's not what friends do.
Hmm.
You could always want your friends on your side. I get that. But to be a friend, you have to allow them freedom of thought, of speech. They're their own
Hmm.
individual person and they can see the situation differently or give you a fresh perspective, because they're an individual. And that's where you like take advice from them.
Hmm.
Not saying you have to follow it because you're your own individual, but I would never demand somebody to be on my side.
I
Like,
like this one, Trey. A real friendship should not leave you feeling exhausted all the time. Agreed. And
yeah.
for me, I feel like your real friends are going to tell you the truth, whether they
Mhm.
agree with you or not. Your
Mhm.
a real friend's going to have your best interest, and the best interest is always to tell them the truth.
I mean, wouldn't you want your friends to tell you the truth, or do you just want yes people around you? That's not friendships. Those are employees. Like, I
Right.
mean, not even like seriously, if you
Hmm.
you're demanding people to I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And I want to end with this. This is just something I've learned as I've gotten older. Beware of the people who always tell you yes,
Mhm.
because the people who are always agreeing with you, I just feel don't have your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Oh,
we have one more
do
question.
we expect Jen to be the same way next season?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
She will
but
not be friends with Mary.
I also expect Heather. I expect Heather to stay on her neck because I'm not sure if you guys heard this, but apparently Jen was supposed to expose Heather on the reunion, but for some reason she didn't.
Expose Heather for
Like
what?
apparently, supposedly Heather Jen said I want to say it was on Watch What Happens Live, and someone knows better than me. Please tell me. But she went on What Happens Live, what Andy show. Um, she said like Heather is not as nice as you guys think she is. She's very manipulative behind the scenes. I have the receipts. Yeah, but I didn't see. I
Yeah.
was looking for that, but I didn't see. Nothing came out though.
Is that when she was dressed up like Madam in that UFO hat?
I
That was
what
circa 1985 Patti LaBelle.
was that on Andy's show? If it was, it's
Yeah, Watch What Happens
it
Lives when all of the housewives are on and she really looked like Madam. Um, I think I heard some of that. And honestly, I don't even hear Jen anymore because I think she's all fart and no shite. Um, she she says a lot of things, but I don't think she actually has receipts. And that was proven to me with how the marriage thing rolled out. She talked a lot of BS, but I don't think there was any receipts for it.
right. I think that was it
Mhm.
for this reunion. I'm glad the season's
Wait,
over. Go ahead, go
what
ahead, go ahead.
about what about the meatballs? Okay, I am so food oriented with these shows. Instead of doing a final drink or a toast to the season, they brought out these dry ass meatballs that looked like balled together dog kibble. Who wanted to eat that? And then had the gall to show the last meatballs from the party that looked
Hmm.
nice and juicy and saucy,
Right.
and these looked atrocious. Who ate that?
Here's my whole thing is I'm going to agree with Yanni. Why not? Why not alcohol? Makes no sense. Here's my thing. If you're going to do the meatball, it should have been like a bourbon meatball or a whiskey meatball.
It should
Just
have looked
saying.
like it had some sort of moisture on it. It looked like dried kibble. And then Andy there is going, good meatball. Boy, bye. You've had better balls in your mouth in your lifetime. Ugh.
Okay, so okay, what was I gonna say?
Why
So
not Lisa Liquor? Because she had enough product placements this damn season.
right, exactly. For me, for next season, I'm interested to seeing Meredith and the ladies, and here is why. Particularly Meredith and Lisa, because when she said, "Why do you think I would discuss my relationship with this group?" That included Miss Lisa Barlow.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that relationship is kind of frosty right now.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
Oh,
see how
yeah.
that plays out next season. Is there anything you're interested in? Is there anything you're interested to see next season?
I'm interested in seeing more of Mary, like the Mary that showed up at the reunion, not the clown that was on this season in the little, in her closet thing. I don't want to see that no more. I want to see how how and if these women earn back their trust with Meredith, or else it's going to be a frigid next season. And with Whitney, I just want to hear, like, I hope she gets back with her dad, because that was another thing in this episode that we forgot about. She is no longer speaking to
Mm-hmm.
her dad. Well, he's no longer speaking to her.
Right.
She's texting, she's calling, he's not responding. And we found out that that thing that lives on his head is actually his
His
hair,
hair. I was like, oh,
which was
okay.
scary. But maybe the chemicals have seeped into his brain. I don't know, but he need to fix that. So I want to see if they get reconciled. I want him to be clean. I want him to have a productive life, and I want him to do something with his hair, even though he is not a snowflake. Yeah, those are
Oh,
the only people I'm interested in.
and less product placement for Lisa.
Well, I've been saying that the whole season, so I didn't
Right,
want to
right.
repeat
I'm
myself.
just saying. I want to see something a
But
little
you
bit
know
different.
what? I hope she's real next season. I don't want to see this perfect family, perfect business in the rental house. Like, I don't want to see you going through no more drive-throughs. I don't want to hear about you throwing away your husband's Rolex because he didn't remember your birthday. I don't want to hear none of those contrived, made up stories. I just don't. Thanks, Lisa. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to next season just to see how everything plays out because while this season was wrapped up in a bow, if you look closely, you can see um there's some tension there, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you or do you not think we need a couple of friends on this show?
Okay, like I've said this on every show I've been
Mhm.
on. The magic formula for Bravo is 7 wives, 2 friends. You're good.
Yeah. Let's hope that they could keep one production company and have
Yes.
one storyline throughout instead of the disjointed, fragmented mess that we had this season. All right, guys, leave your comments below for us. You know that we read them and you know that we respond. If you like the recap, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up anyway. We're just begging, okay? Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you're made aware every time we release new content. And most importantly, tell a friend. Join the conversation. We want to hear what you have to say. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.